Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy Thursday everybody, and hope you're having a great day so far. According to USA Today, lawmakers closed in on a roughly $900 billion stimulus relief deal that may include another round of checks and other much needed financial benefits for Americans. According to a source familiar with negotiations, the deal will restart a boost to federal unemployment insurance benefits and provide some form of relief for state and local governments. Liability protections, a hurdle in negotiations, when Republicans insisted they be included in a deal, are not likely to be in this package. Senator John Thune of South Dakota, the second-ranking Senate Republican, said Wednesday that he believed checks of $600 or $700 and double that for family and kids were part of the discussion. The unemployment benefits under discussion was about $300 per week, he said, and about $330 billion was on the table to renew the Paycheck Protection Program for small business loan forgiveness. USA Today reports that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell seemed optimistic about the prospects of a deal. Now folks, hopefully Congress can pass more stimulus. The great American people need help now, especially since the unemployment benefits are set to expire December 26th, the day after Christmas. If Congress does not act now to pass more stimulus relief, thousands of Americans will be in deep trouble. Congress must pass the stimulus. If you agree, then leave a comment down below saying I agree. And before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the notifications bell, and let's get this video to 5,000 likes if you think that Congress needs to pass more stimulus relief.
At least not yet, and that has provided an opening for lawmakers to leave that part out.
Oh, look, I just think as long as I want the hospitals protected, I just think that the amount of money that the hospitals have had to spend, and don't remember, some of these hospitals just don't have, they're going to be bankrupt.
Yeah. And there will be, I think there is funding for certain things related to the money being spent by state and municipalities on COVID specifically. It's just not going to address the gaping budget deficits that many of these states are facing as a result of the slowdown in economic activity, right, which was resulted, of course, in tax revenues being well below. I mean, listen, in our region, it's also the MTA, which is facing just a gigantic budget deficit, what, $12 billion or more, which could result in a 40% cut in services, which would just crush the ability for people to get around in the tri-state area and therefore make things a lot more difficult.
Look, I think that there's certain stocks, Carl, that are such big winners. If everybody, man, woman, child gets $600, I mean, here we go again. I mean, the money goes to the big box retail.
Now Senator Joe Manchin, according to Forbes, said that we don't have a choice but to pass $908 billion in stimulus relief. Forbes reports the new framework includes $288 billion in aid for businesses, $300 a weekly supplemental unemployment benefits for 3 months, and another $160 billion for state and local governments. President-elect Joe Biden last week signaled his support for the plan, but added that the $908 billion should be considered, at best, a down payment before additional relief measures that will come after he takes office next year. Top Democrats have endorsed the package, even though it is more than $1 trillion smaller than what they've pushed for until now, as have a number of Senate Republicans, even though the GOP until now has not been willing to support any plan larger than about $500 billion.
More multilateral way than the Trump administration was. What was immediately clear in our discussion is that President-elect Biden's foreign policy and national security team are exceptionally qualified, accomplished individuals with the expertise to protect our nation and advance American interests abroad. In addition to Tony Blinken and Avril Haines, she corrected my pronunciation.
Like Joe Biden, Senator Manchin of West Virginia emphasized this plan is only a starting point to tide the economy over through the first few months of 2021. Every indication says more money is needed, he said. We see that. And top Democrat, Senator Durbin of Illinois, said in a Sunday interview on NBC that another round of stimulus checks had been excluded from the package to make the price tag more palatable to Senate Republicans, and added that he would want to see additional aid measures like stimulus checks if there was more money available. Congress will return to work on Monday with just 5 days left to prevent a government shutdown on December 11th. Lawmakers can pass an omnibus spending bill with an entirely new budget for the 2021 fiscal year, or they can pass a short-term continuing resolution to fund the government at existing levels until the spring.
Help facilities. We need help for small businesses desperately. We got a lot of businesses just hanging on. So this is another round of PPP grants and loans to small businesses. This is money that needs to get out right away.
Senator, the frustration has been enormous across this nation. Why has this taken so long?
Well, you know, on one hand, you had Speaker Pelosi say that it was $2 trillion or nothing. And on the other hand, you saw Republicans. We came forward with a bill that was $500 billion. And so we were just miles apart. And at a dinner with, well, I guess there were 8 of us at Lisa Murkowski's home.
Out on this year's session. I voted twice on the Senate floor in recent months to support a package the Democrats have blocked. The House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now confirmed was playing politics with Americans' lives and livelihoods. That's what Lawler said during Sunday's debate in Atlanta. She's held up targeted relief that would have gone to hospitals, to schools, to families, and to small businesses. That's what I've been fighting for. That's what Democrats have been holding up. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, who do you think is to blame for holding back our second stimulus payment? And according to Politico, Pelosi eyes combining stimulus aid with a government spending deal. House Speaker Pelosi said Friday she wants to attach a relief bill to a $1.4 trillion omnibus spending package that would avert the government shutdown later this month, raising the prospects of a long-stalled stimulus relief. Finally being signed into law. Pelosi told reporters, that would be a hope because that is the vehicle leaving the station. Pelosi said of attaching pandemic aid to a must-pass fiscal 2021 funding package during her weekly press conference. She also added, we would want a big, strong vote. Pelosi said the $908 billion proposal, released this week by a centrist group of Senate and House members, helped restart the stimulus talks, which fell apart just before the election after months of dragging on with little real movement. Pelosi also said there is momentum. There was momentum with the action that the senators and House members in a bipartisan way have taken.
That many of these states are facing as a result of the slowdown in economic activity, which was resulted, of course, in tax revenues being well below. I mean, listen, in our region, it's also the MTA, which is facing just a gigantic budget deficit, what, $12 billion or more, which could result in a 40% cut in services, which would just crush the ability for people to get around in the tri-state area and therefore make things a lot more difficult.
Look, I think that there's certain stocks, Carl, that are such big winners. If everybody, man, woman, child gets $600, I mean, here we go again. I mean, the money goes to the big box retailers. The money goes to fix up your house or your apartment. And the money goes for the gamification of stocks. Maybe that's one of the reasons why stocks are so strong. I love that word. Gamification. Don't doubt that.
With that being said, folks, that is all the news in today's video. Before you go, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you will never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check updates. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and until next time, have a great day.